The heat rippled off the sand like a living thing as he stepped out of his old truck, the engine's rumble fading behind him. He paused for a moment, absorbing the vast emptiness, a world of sun-bleached rock and dust where life clung on by sheer will. It had been months since he last set foot here, months since he'd carried that trembling, injured puppy back to the sanctuary on his shoulder. The memory of its pitiful whimpers and the ragged scar on its hind leg still haunted his thoughts. Yet today it wasn't memory that guided him. It was this small, determined creature at his side, pressing its cold nose into his boot, urging him onward. They moved in tandem across the grassless plain, the puppy's movements slow but resolute. Every few steps it would pause, glance back and whimper softly as if to say, "Are you still with me?" He tightened the strap on his pack and nodded, though the puppy couldn't see. Beneath the harsh glare of midday, the puppy's fur glowed silver-grey, its eyes shimmering with a mix of fear and purpose. He followed without hesitation, heart pounding with an unexplainable anticipation. What could have driven this tiny creature to reappear here, in the merciless heat, seeking him out once more? As they ventured deeper into the desert, the familiar pang of drought-stricken earth underfoot reminded him of the fragility of life in this land. Cacti stood like silent sentinels, and carrion birds circled high overhead, waiting, but the puppy's presence turned this wasteland into a stage of hope. With each footprint in the dust, he felt the threads of the past weaving into the present. Then, over the rise of a low dune, they came upon her. The mother dog lay sprawled across the cracked ground, her fur matted, eyes half closed, blood darkening the sand beneath her. A cruel steel trap encircled her leg, its jagged jaws still clamped tight. His breath caught as he crouched beside her. The puppy bounded forward, body trembling, whimpering in desperate, heart-rending pleas. Its tiny head rested against the mother's side, as if lending comfort, as if communicating help. The sight struck him with fierce urgency. Here was a family torn apart by man's greed, pleading for mercy under the indifferent sky. He placed a steady hand on the puppy's head, feeling its rapid heartbeat, and then turned his full attention to the mother's plight. The trap's metal teeth had bitten deep into flesh, but mercifully stopped short of bone. Still, every second left unattended would risk infection, gangrene, or death. He drew a slow breath, centering himself. Recalling long ago training and countless rescues, he found the calm voice hidden within his own fear. He murmured soothing words as he leaned closer, the heat of their shared desperation stirring something elemental in him. With great exertion, he shoved first one crowbar-like tool against the outer jaw of the trap, then another against the inner. Metal groaned under pressure. The mother's pain-filled whine pierced his chest, yet he persisted, muscles burned. Finally, the trap's jaws eased, and he ripped it free in one decisive motion. The mother dog cried out sharply, more from shock than the wound's depth, and the puppy yelped in relief. Without pause, he swept open his pack and pulled out a compact medical kit. Antiseptic, gauze, bandages, all essentials for this moment of crisis. The puppy watched unblinkingly as he cleaned away the blood and dirt, every motion deliberate, measured against the mother's quivering form. It pressed its warm body against the injured dog, offering silent solidarity. He worked quickly, rinsing the wound, applying antibiotic ointment, wrapping the leg in crisp white gauze. His hands moved with both urgency and gentleness, mindful of every flicker of pain, every breath drawn by the mother dog. When he finished, he sat back on his heels and surveyed the scene, the embracing family, bound by adversity and now by hope, glistening under the unrelenting sky. The mother rose, testing her bandaged leg, then pivoted to nudge her puppy, who danced around her in joyous circle. They looked toward him, eyes softening. There was no barking, no frantic jumping, just a still moment of mutual recognition. He felt tears sting his eyes, but blinked them away, pushing the raw emotion down into something quieter, stronger. They lingered in that golden light until the mother dog, with a tentative grace, led her pup toward the distant horizon. The puppy turned back once, head tilted, gaze locked with his. No words were spoken, yet an unspoken promise passed between them. Live, survive, remember. He watched their silhouettes shrink against the sun-drenched dunes until they dissolved into the shimmer. The desert returned to silence, but something within him had shifted irrevocably. Then he rose, collected the discarded trap and kit remains, and headed back to his truck. Each step felt lighter than when he'd come. Back at the sanctuary, he would relay this story to colleagues who might doubt such miracles, but here in his mind he could replay every detail. The puppy's imploring eyes, the mother's grateful whimper, the heat of the sun on scorched skin. He slid into the driver's seat and exhaled. The engine roared to life, and as he drove away, he glanced in the rearview mirror at the endless sea of sand. In that reflection, he saw not emptiness but possibility, proof that one courageous act can echo across time and transform more lives than one. Weeks later, visitors to the sanctuary would gather around, eager for the tale that had become legend. He would tell it without embellishment, his voice calm but steady, as if sharing a quiet truth. In the heart of the wild, compassion still speaks louder than words. They would listen, enthralled by the image of a tiny puppy leading its savior to another life waiting to be saved. And he would smile, knowing this story was not just about rescue. It was about the unbreakable bond between human and animal, a bond that can rise from the dust and bloom under the fiercest sun, carrying hope on paws once wounded, now free. He found himself returning to the desert, not as a rescuer on duty, but as a pilgrim to the place where sacred trust had been forged. Months later, when the seasons shifted and the sun softened its glare, he drove out to the same stretch of cracked earth. The wind whispered through the sparse brush, carrying the faint scent of sage. As he stepped onto the sun-baked ground, memories of that day surged, the puppy's pleading stance, the mother's pain, the moment the trap shattered. He knelt, finger tracing the outline of a faded paw print imprinted in the dust. Something inside him stirred as the horizon glowed gold, a reminder that hope can flourish even in the harshest soil. Back at the sanctuary, the rescued family had grown stronger than anyone dared imagine. The mother dog, nicknamed a Desert Rose, had nurtured a new litter of 4 healthy pups, each bearing the scar of survival as a testament to resilience. The original puppy, now tall and sleek, would often break away from its kin, racing to the fence where he stood, tail wagging as if to say, "Look what love can do." Colleagues watched in awe as this once fragile creature blossomed, its spirit unbowed by suffering. Inspired by this transformation, the sanctuary launched a campaign to remove illegal traps from surrounding lands, partnering with rangers to patrol and educate. Their message spread through social media, reaching thousands who pledged to protect desert wildlife. Every night as he locked the gates and the desert sky filled with stars, he felt the echo of that reunion. He understood now that rescue is not a single act but a ripple that stretches outward, touching lives, shaping futures, and reminding us of our shared place in the web of life. The puppy's return had changed him as profoundly as his intervention had changed her. In the quiet that followed each sunset, he carried with him the promise etched in sand and spirit: compassion endures, and in its light, even barren lands can bloom.